So the computer doctor came to take my laptop. All right, so that poem was all about what? Rain. And it talked about a rumble, a splatter, a rumble outside. What was the rumble? What was the rumble?
Rain.
No, not the rain. What was the rumble? Grayson? Thunder. Don't you hear a rumble when thunder comes? Okay. So the next poem was a cute little poem. It's called Covers. Okay, covers. So let's read covers. Glass covers windows to keep the cold away. Clouds cover the sky to make a rainy day. Nighttime covers all the things that creep. Blankets cover me when I'm asleep. I like that one. Did anybody like that poem?
Yeah.
What was that all about? Different types of covers, right? I know when I think of the word covers, I think of my blankets at night. And the author talks about blankets covering the child in the picture. But it also gave us some other examples like glass covering the window. Okay, did you ever think that glass was a covering?
Yes.
It is. This poem was shorter and it was a little bit easier to read. Why do you think it was easier for Miss Stuber to read? Did you notice anything about that poem? Hi Elise, good morning. Evie, did you notice anything?
It had rhyming words in it.
Exactly. The author used rhyming words, so it kind of flowed a little better. I really like that one, but my favorite one was the next one, Cloud Dragons. How many of you ever just spend time looking up at the sky, at the clouds? Do you ever see shapes in the clouds? I do. It's funny the different shapes that you see up there. What does the author see in the clouds in this story? Grayson? Dragons. Do you think dragons are the only thing the author sees in there?
No.
What else? What were some of the other things that the author saw? Avery? Hi, Matthew. Good morning. What else?
A horse.
Yeah, there was a horse. What else?
A dog.
A dog. Was there anything else, Brooklyn? Can you see anything else? Here's the dog. I don't know if you can see this online. It looks like one of those little hot dogs. I think those are called Dachshunds. Here's the horse. Here's his tail. Here's the face and the mane right here. This definitely looks like a what?
Dragon.
A dragon. What does this look like? It doesn't look like any shape to you?
No. Human head.
Thunder.
I was thinking maybe a duck head. I don't know. Looks like maybe the mouth of the bill of the duck.
That kind of looks like
Alligator.
a fish.
Or a dinosaur.
No.
Trayvon said an alligator. What do you think, Layla?
Or a seal.
I can't hear you, honey. Speak up.
That's all
You did. Wow. Okay, so let's read Cloud Dragons really quick by Pat Mora. What do you see in the clouds so high? What do you see in the sky? Oh, I see dragons that curl their tails as they go slithering by. What do you see in the clouds so high? What do you see? Tell me do. Oh, I see cabalitos that race the wind high in the shimmering blue. What do you think cabalitos are?
Horse.
You think it's a horse?
Yeah, because caballitos go like a fan and horses do that.
Yeah, caballito is a horse.
And
So it's talking about the horse in the sky. Good job. So your homework for tonight is to answer a couple of comprehension questions about the poems that we read read, the 3 poems. Now I want to talk to you about answer and comprehension questions. Okay? The highest form of understanding when you're reading is to be able to answer something in writing. Okay, that's why we focus on answering comprehension questions in writing so much. Okay, Francisco, let's not color while I'm talking about reading, okay? Thanks, bud. Okay, so when we are talking about answering these questions, we gave you a strategy. Do you remember what the strategy is to help you with answering questions? Anybody? Can you come out of present mode? I'll give you a hint. The race strategy. Do you remember the race strategy?
Yes.
Let's sing the song Miss Best and I sang with you. You ready? Do you remember it?
Yes.
Okay, sing it with me if you remember. Ready? Race. Restate the question. Race. Answer the question. Race. Cite your evidence. Race. Examine your answer. Race. Okay? The R in race stands for restate the question. You need to use part of that question in your answer. Okay? Do not rewrite the question. You don't have to write the question again. Just use part of that question in your answer. So if we look at our comprehension questions, and this is in Google Classroom for you, okay? The first question is, what questions did you ask yourself about the poems before, during, and after reading? How could we restate that question? How could we use part of that question in your answer? Can anyone help me with that? Anybody? Okay, it says, what questions did you ask yourself? So could we answer it with, what's it asking you for?
Can you see?
The what?
The question.
The questions. So we could start out with the questions, and who is the you they're referring to?
Me.
You, right? So you would say the questions I asked myself about the poem before, during, and after reading are... Okay, so when you were reading these poems, did you ask yourself any questions?
Yeah.
What kind of questions did you ask yourself? Some of you are shaking your heads no, but Trayvon said yes. I'm so excited, Trayvon. What kind of questions did you ask yourself?
Well, the others kept saying the same thing.
Okay, why did they say the same thing? Okay, I know before I read the poems, I was looking at the pictures. And I wondered, weather, the poem weather, that's pretty obvious what the poem is going to be about because you see all this rain coming down. But when I looked at the poem covers, I wasn't sure because it showed a window, it showed a rainstorm, it showed nighttime, it showed a little girl sleeping. So I wondered what the poem was really going to be about. And then I read it, and I realized that it was easy to read. And I wondered, why did the author use the rhyming words he did? Why do you think the author used those rhyming words in the poems? Why would an author use that? Dominic?
So he could make it like a rhyming story.
Okay, why would you want a rhyming story? It's what? It can be fun to read, right?
Yeah.
So the questions I asked myself about the poems before, during, and after reading were, what is the poem going to be about? Why did the author use rhyming words? Okay. I didn't have a lot of questions. You may not have had a lot of questions. That's kind of a tricky question because you may not really have anything. You might not have asked yourself anything. But Miss Stuber was wondering what the poems were going to be about. As I read it, I wondered, why did the author use rhyming words? And after the poems, I didn't really have questions, but I was excited to read the last 2 poems because I thought they were more exciting, more easy to read. I had more fun reading them. I didn't have a lot of fun reading weather, but I did have more fun reading covers and cloud dragons, okay? You're gonna answer number 2. Find places in weather where the poet uses repetition. How do the sounds of the words help you picture what kind of weather she is writing about? All right, so we need to use part of this question in your answer. R is restate the question, okay? It says find places in weather where the poet uses repetition. So you're going to go back to the poem Weather. You don't have to do this right now. But I know in the first stanza, poetry is not broken down in paragraphs like a story. Poetry is broken down into what we call stanzas, okay? And in the first stanza, it says dot a dot dot, dot a dot dot. Why do you think the author, that's a repetitive phrase. He's using it more than once. Why do you think the author might be using that phrase more than once? Anyone? Evie, you are on it today. Why do you think?
I think it's because that the author wants to make the poem more fun.
Okay, maybe make it more fun. Okay, so when Evie's answering this question, the actual question is, how do the sounds of the words help you picture what kind of weather she's writing about? So you need to use part of that question in your answer. You need to start with the sounds of the words that help. What are you going to change you to? Me. You're going to change you to me. How do the sounds of the words help me picture what kind of weather she is writing about? Because dot a dot dot, dot a dot dot. Does that make you think of what?
Rain.
Of rain. Because it reminds me of when I hear a rainstorm and the rain is hitting the windows, right? Tap, 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 tap. That's kind of what you hear. Or I heard yesterday morning with the snow and ice coming down. So I think the sounds of the words help me picture what kind of weather she's writing about, because it helps me to make connections with what I already know about the sounds of rain coming down. Brooklyn?
One time it was raining when I was sleeping, and I saw like a flash of like this, and it came back out.
Oh boy. And they talked about rumble. Remember when they had that word rumble? Okay. I know that a rumble, a splatter, a rumble outside. That's another sound word. Reminded me of what?
Lightning.
Not lightning, but
Thunder.
thunder. Okay. So just think about these sound words in that poem to help you answer that. And then question number 3 says, compare the settings of covers and cloud dragons. How does each poem make you feel? So when we were reading the poem Covers, remember the pages are what? You remember they're all pretty dark, right? Do you remember Covers? How did you feel reading that? How did that make you feel? Trayvon said fine. Is fine a good feeling word? No. How did it make you feel? Glass covers windows to keep the cold away. Clouds cover the sky to make a rainy day. Nighttime covers all the things that creep. Blankets cover me when I am asleep. Okay, it definitely reminds me of nighttime, because the pictures are all dark. When the clouds cover the sky to make a rainy day, how does it look outside?
Dark.
Very dark, right? It starts to get dark. There's no sunshine. And it talks about nighttime. What does it look like when it's nighttime? Dark. Blankets cover me when I'm asleep. Did you get a happy feeling as you were reading that one? You felt happy? Jacob's shaking his head no. I wasn't really happy. It wasn't scary or anything, but it didn't make me really happy. But when I look at cloud dragons, you can see that it's bright blue like the sky. And to me, it made me happy because I'm making a connection when I'm outside in the sunshine looking up at the sky. It makes me feel good and happy, where covers kind of made me feel a little bit gloomy. Did anybody else feel gloomy when they were reading covers? I mean, it was fun to read because it had rhyming words, but it's dark and kind of gloomy. And Cloud Dragons is kind of a happier, you can see the children laughing. It's kind of a happier poem. So you need to compare the settings of covers. We know covers takes place when? At what? At nighttime. And Cloud Dragons takes place during the day. Okay. Covers takes place both inside and outside, where Cloud Dragons is inside. So I would restate this question. First, I would say the poem Covers makes me feel, I would change that word you to me. I would say the poem Covers makes me feel a little gloomy because it's dark. Everything is dark. The pictures are dark. They're talking about nighttime and covers when you go to sleep. That's at nighttime. And I would say the poem Cloud Dragons makes me feel happy when I read it because it makes me think of being outside on a sunny day, looking at the clouds and using my imagination to picture what those clouds could be. Okay, so you are going to work on those 3 comprehension questions today in your reading journal. They're a little bit tough, so just do your best. Okay, remember to use part of the question in your answer. Restate the question. Answer the question. Okay, so you've got to make sure you're answering the question. Cite your text evidence. We want you to make sure you're using evidence from the text. Okay, I went back into the text for covers and I talked about how the little girl was in bed going to sleep. That's at nighttime, right? And in one stanza, it actually uses the word nighttime, and that means that they're sleeping, and it just makes me feel gloomy. It's dark and gloomy. Whereas covers, it's just a bright, happy poem. So make sure you're going in the text to get some details, okay, from the text. Touch it. Touch the words. And then explain your thinking or examine your evidence. That just means, did you start your letters with your sentences with capital letters? Did you end them with punctuation marks? Okay. Do the choice of the words make sense? Okay, is it a complete sentence? Did I answer everything that the question asked me to? Okay, so I even posted this little race strategy poster with your assignment to help remind you. Does anybody have questions about today's assignment? Evie?
In the first question, like the one, did you have any questions before or after reading?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have any questions, do you still have to do it?
You need to do it. Just say, I really didn't have any questions before, during, or after reading the story. I know that after reading the poem Cloud Dragons, I wondered what other animals or what other things the author saw in the sky, or what other animals were up there. Okay, so that was a question I had. But, I mean, if you don't have any questions, just say you don't have any questions, but try to at least come up with one. Surely you had one before you read, during your reading, or after your reading. Okay, just do your best. Any other questions about the assignment? No one online? Well, all right, kiddos. You did a good job listening today. I hope you enjoyed the poems. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Turnage.
do phonics first today since we're doing all this rhyming.